Do you want to make more money and want to make it faster? Have you heard about people making 100K in a month, 80K in a week, 100K in a day? And you cannot even wrap your head around how is that even possible? Like that's so beyond the realm of comprehension that your mind can fathom that you're like, I don't know how people are doing this, but I want to know how people are doing this. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 steps on how you can make your your yearly salary in just one freaking week. And again, I'm not teaching you theory. This is something I do all the time. Just a week ago, I made $80,000 in one week at 23 years old. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to, not be humble or anything. I'm just saying if I could do it at 23 years old, didn't come from money, didn't come from, parents that's millionaires, right? I had to hustle. I had to use my brain. I had to use my leverage. And you want to do the exact same thing. You probably didn't come from nothing. You probably don't have the tools, the resources, or anything like that. And I'm going to show you how it's possible. Again, if I could do it, you could do it. Right. So just the other day, I was pulling up to my dad's house, spend some time with him. And he just got this new grill. He was super excited about it, and he was trying to take the grill to the house and put it in his truck, right? So he can move it and do what he need to do. So, I come in the house. What's up, Dad? How you doing? Doing good. Chopping it up with him. He said, "Hey, I need you to move the grill I just got. It's in the front." So I go to move the grill, and I'm like, "This small grill? Like you couldn't move this small grill, Dad? Like it's super small. Like I know I've been working out and stuff, but you couldn't move this small grill?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can move it, but I'm 50. God calls it young because you're strong. You move this grill." And I'm like, "Okay, Pops, I'll go ahead and move the grill." So again, this grill is small and I've been in the gym. So I'm like, "Oh, this easy work, right?" So I'm trying to move it. I'm moving the grill and it's not budging. Like it's not budging no matter what I do. I'm like, "Dad, like this grill is not moving. Like I know it ain't because it's heavy. Like this is a small grill." And he was like, "Yeah, it's a hump right there. You just need to get over that little hump." Right. So I had to put some more effort into getting over that hump initially. And then I just started moving it. So why don't I tell you this story? Because sometimes we have the strength to reach our goals, but we just have to get over that little hump that's in front of us. But what's interesting about the hump, sometimes you just need somebody to let you know there's a hump right there so you can use the strength you already have. Because in the story I told y'all, I've been in the gym, I've been working out. That ain't the issue. The grill is small. I just needed somebody to come and tell me, like, "Jay, it's a hump right there. Once you get over that hump, it's gonna be easy, right?" So why am I telling you that story? Because I want to be the person in your life that comes in your life and tell you, you have the strength to reach your goals, but you just have to get over that initial hump. What is that initial hump? Leave me again. I'm gonna give y'all 5 things. The how you get over the hump is we need to stop trading our time for money and start trading our time for leverage, right? It's 2 ways you make money. You make money using your back or you make money using your brain, right? You make money, again, labor or leverage. For example, one way that you get over the hump, my first job was at Jason's Deli at 17 years old. I was making $7.25 an hour at 17 years old. So I was using my labor to make money, right? 7.25 an hour. My check for the month was like $600. Like, and I'm working hard, y'all. I'm busting my butt to make that 600. I'm talking about sweating and some more stuff to make that 600. But now I'm in a position, again, 5, 6 years later, we'll have 7 fix and flip properties. Well, now I don't even work. I work part-time now. I work less than 20 hours because I'm using the leverage that those houses are giving me, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that are in those properties. If I can make 10% on $1 million, that's $100,000. So I'm using the leverage of the houses working part-time versus working, 30, 40 hours a week for 7.25 an hour. So that's the first hump we have to get over. It's trading our time for money because we have been indoctrinated to change to trade our time for money, right? And we have to get out of that. So that's the first hump that we have to get over, right? Another thing, leverage. Like I know I said leverage. What is leverage? Because a lot of people use the phrase, but what is leverage? Leverage is money, right? That's one way you can use leverage. Like I told you, with fix and flipping, how I'm just leveraging a large portfolio of properties, and if I can make 10% on one, that's one way. Another way is relationships. How do you leverage a relationship? Let's say, for example, you don't have the money, but you have a relationship with somebody that has the money, and they give you the money. That's how you leverage a relationship. How else can what other forms of leverage are there? Knowledge. Okay. How do you leverage knowledge? Like I told you, when I first got into real estate, I was working at Jason's Deli for 7.25 an hour. And my dad told me, he asked me one day, Jalen, what do you want to do? Son, what do you want to do with your life? Like I was in the second semester of high school. I was not planning on going to college. And he asked me, hey, time is ticking, man. You're in the second semester, you're about to graduate. What are you going to do with your life? And I told him, I want to learn real estate. All right. I want to learn real estate. And we're in a car while we're having this conversation. So we pull up to Starbucks and he sees his childhood friend teaching his son how to do real estate. Again, we were just in the car talking about how I want to learn how to get into real estate. So, that was just perfect timing. So I got this Starbucks napkin and a pen. I'm writing everything he's teaching on that napkin. So what did I do? The next day I quit. I was tired of working for 7.25 an hour. I quit and I quit fast. So 4 months later, I made $37,000 the day before my high school prom. The day before my high school prom, 4 months later, I was working for 7.25 an hour. But I used leverage. But what leverage did I utilize is knowledge. Because he was teaching me a way you can get into real estate with no money, no license, no credit, none of that. So what did I do? I used my knowledge, leveraged my knowledge, and I did the math. If I would have stayed at Jason's Deli to make $37,000, I would have had to stay there for 2.5 years. So that's the power of leverage, because now since I have more leverage, now I have more time, right? So that's how you can use leverage. Another way you can use leverage is, I know we said relationships, but other people. And I'm gonna say other people's time. You can leverage other people's time. That's how, you know, these big companies are being able to be built. Tesla, Elon Musk has multiple companies. He has Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and some more companies but he's not there every time. He's still, when he was doing stuff with the White House and stuff like that, he's able to run 6, 7 different companies and, help the government out because he's using other people's time. So that's how, again, companies are being built, Walmart, because they're paying. They say, hey, I'll pay you XYZ, or how they did me at Jason Diller. I'll pay you 7.25 an hour if you work for this much, if you work for this amount of time and you're able to do that for XYZ time. That's how you use other people's time for leverage. So again, getting over the hump and then using our leverage. The next thing we have to do is pick a high performing industry. Pick a high performing industry. What does that mean? High performing. There's two ways you make money. Well, not two ways you make money, but in business, how we look at it is two ways. You have a large volume, V for volume, times large volume. You have a large volume of customers and they pay you little money. So let's say you have a million people wanting to pay you $1, you just made $1 million. But let's say, for example, you have a low volume of customers, but they pay you a lot of money. So let's say you have a customer that'll pay you $25,000, but you have 40 of those customers. That's also $1 million. So we have to choose, do we want a large volume of customers paying us a little money, or do we want a low volume of customers paying a lot of money, right? Paying you $25,000 for one service, or $1 service, but you got a million people. But you have to pick an industry that is scalable. You have to pick an industry that is fast. Like, for example, like, okay, I wouldn't go start okay, a shoe flipping business. I wouldn't start a shoe flipping business, because the reason I wouldn't start a shoe flipping business is because, let's say, to sell a shoe, you only make $20 to sell a shoe. Like, but I have to drive, I have to commute, and I have to meet the person and do all that. I'm not doing that business because, first, my profit is super low, so I'm getting paid little money. But I also cannot service a large amount of customers in that business, right? So you have to have both of these equations, or it's not going to work. If you don't have a large enough amount of customers and you're getting paid little money, then the business is not scalable. Like, you're not going to be able to make your salary in 1 week doing that, because it's just too slow. But one of the businesses I do is I teach people how to start investing in real estate for $10,000. So let's say, for example, I do 10 clients in a week. That's $100,000 in a week. So that's how that's one way I'm able to, make a salary in a week, because I know the equation. You have to be in one of these equations. Again, large volume of customers, a little money, or low volume and a lot of money. You have to be on one of these sides of the equation to make a salary in a week. Okay, I just told y'all I made $80,000 in a week a week ago. How did I do that? It's because that's the vehicle of real estate. So I had 2 fix and flip properties closed for about $30K a piece, and I wholesale that closed for about $15,000. So real estate, very big checks, big checks when you able to make good profits. But the cash conversion cycle is longer, right? So I was in some of these flip projects for about 4 to 5 months before I was able to see the profit, right? So in that type of business, like real estate, you have to have a lot of stuff going at one time. Like I told you, I have 7 flips right now. The reason why is because I don't know when they're going to close. So I need to stack my revenue. So again, that's the equation. One of these equations we need to be at. Either large volume and little money, or low volume and a lot of money. So the next thing we have to do to make our salary in a week is identify your leverage. We went over the type of leverage that you can use: capital, knowledge, other people's time, relationships. You have to identify, once you identify your industry, you have to identify what leverage you're going to use. Because I know I said I wouldn't do the shoe business, but now thinking about it, identifying my leverage, I would do the shoe business under certain parameters, right? If I have a team of 15 people, if I have a team of 15 people that's buying shoes for me, that we're pretty much a team, but I'm paying them, let's say 15 people, I'm paying them. I know they can get and sell let's say 5 shoes a day. 5 shoes a day at $20 profit. That's about $100 a person. What leverage am I using? First, what leverage am I using? Other people's time. So again, I got 15 people. They can make me $100 a day. That's $1,500 a day, right? So now thinking, if you're able to identify and use your leverage, now you're able to make $1,500 a day revenue. Let's say you tell them, hey, I'll pay y'all $50 a day. You're bringing the capital, right? So you're buying the shoe, you're doing everything, but all they doing is like the footwork. So you're saying, hey, I'll pay y'all, let's say $50 a day, just hypothetically speaking. So now you pay $750. Now you're making $750 a day because you identified your leverage was other people's time and capital. Would I still do the business? No, but I mean, because there's better business out there. But just give y'all an example. If you identify your leverage and able to leverage other people's time, leverage money, this how you can make a $750 a day business just off of doing this, right? The next thing kind of leads me into what I was just talking about. Do your math, right? Once you identify your leverage, you have to do the math. Like, how much do you want to make? Like, what is your salary? Let's say your salary is $70,000 a year, just hypothetically speaking. $70,000 a year. The whole goal is, how can we make this in a week? How can we make our annual salary? How can we condense that and make that in 1 week? We have to do the math. So like I was telling you, what two equations? Little money. I mean, they're going to pay you. You need two equations, either a large volume of customers and they're paying you little money, or a little volume of customers paying you a large amount of money. So let's say we want to do the little amount of customers paying a large amount of money. Let's say, for example, right now let's say, for example, an engineer, just hypothetically speaking, you're an engineer, but you identified, okay, when I got out of college doing engineering, I still was lacking in certain things. Like, to get to the job force and be efficient, they didn't teach me everything. So you're like, okay, I know I wasn't taught everything. Now I know what I don't know. Let me create a program that, as a current engineer, let me create a program that I'm going to teach people what college didn't teach them, but what they need to know to get a job, right? So you're filling in that knowledge gap that college didn't teach them, but they need to know to get a good job. Let's say you're charging people $7,000. I mean, they paid $100,000 for college. So if you think you can't charge them $7,000, then that's a mental hump. And again, I'm here to help you get over that hump, right? So let's say you're charging them $7,000. Now all you need is 10 people in a week, and you just made your annual salary in a week. But Jalen, it's not that simple to find 10 people to pay me $7,000. Of course, it's work that goes into this, but I want to tell y'all how simple it is to do it. So once you do your math, now you see how easy it is. Now, okay, you got $70,000 on the other equation. Let's say you're selling a $100 product, right? Let's say your product is $100. Now you need to sell 700 people to pay you $100 and you made $70,000. But Jalen, it's not that easy. Like, you just putting these numbers on the board. It's not that easy to have 10 people pay me $7,000. I can't even fathom that. Well, hey, we live in the age of social media. We live in the age of TikTok. We live in the age of YouTube, right? We have leverage. I know we was just talking about identifying our leverage. Let me tell y'all another lever that y'all don't know y'all probably had. It's social media. Right? Let's say you got one viral video give you 1 million views over, you're an engineer that's looking to help people. You can sell more than 10 in 1 week. Let's say, for example, you post on Instagram, YouTube every single day on what you can give to the marketplace to help. You don't just have to be an engineer. You could, be a barber and help barbers, scale their businesses. It's so many things that you could do to add value to the marketplace to then, in return, pretty much the more value you add to the marketplace, the more money you make. How can you add more value to the marketplace? You can add more value to the marketplace via social media. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's simple, right? So that's pretty much how you could make your annual salary in a week. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you on the flip side.